Hey everybody, it's the MoNaCo here.
And Milks.
Yo, first of all, thanks to everybody who's watching their homework ahead of time.
Dig it.
For serious, it's really making a difference in class, so please keep it up.
Yes.
We're hitting up page 17 in our pack. We're going to learn how to name covalent molecules.
What's that big word for naming again?
Nomenclature.
Nomenclature. I was going to put it on there, but I didn't know how to spell it.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
So, I'm afraid you'd like that.
The actual drawing of the structures is much more complex than naming.
This is actually going to be pretty easy, and it's actually
straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward. No Roman numerals, none of that
The
stuff.
problem is that the prefix for the number of atoms when we're talking about naming covalent compounds isn't in our reference table. So
we got to
have to memorize it.
That's it.
So the process is first name dash last name.
Pretty much. So we're going to name the first nonmetal. We're going to name the second nonmetal ending in "ide," just like an ionic.
Right, so all ionics end in "ide", so all covalents end in "ide".
So they're all going to end in "ide" because that means it's a
Compound.
of some sort,
Yeah.
which is a generic term. Cool. All right. The thing we need to know here, though, is we are going to put a prefix on both nonmetal names to tell me how many of them there are. The only exception is we will never put mono on the first nonmetal.
If there's only one.
Right. So we never use the prefix mono on the first nonmetal. Otherwise,
You'll see that in some examples,
well,
of course.
Yep. So let's go through these prefixes that are not on the reference
Because
tables.
putting mono on it is redundant.
It really is.
Yeah, so let's carry on.
So,
Mono, prefix for the number of atoms, 1.
yep.
Simple.
Yep. 2 is
Di.
and 3 is
Try.
try. And now here's where things are going to get. This is where we kind of need to start memorizing
Yeah,
something.
those first ones are easy, right?
Right.
Tetra,
4 is tetra.
not quad.
No.
I would have thought quad,
Possibly, yeah.
but tetra is the right
Tetra.
way to do.
5 is penta,
Like a pentagram
or a
like
pentagon.
pentagon. It's 5-sided.
Right.
So, that's what it comes from. It's comes the Greek and the Latin roots.
There we go. Well, that's how most of our
Not
elements are
the
named too.
quad, which is like a Germanic root or something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe. Yeah.
Carrying on.
Who knows? 6, hexa.
Okay. And then I'm betting hepta. Yeah.
Ooh, you good at this.
Ooh, and this one is really easy.
This one we've used this one already
So
before.
much.
it's-
Octa. So
Octa
we used it for octet.
Yep.
So octa would be for the number of
Yep.
whatever element.
And I guess this would be a good time to. Well, I don't want to go through all these particular rules, but this is more of like an English thing. If we're going to talk about oxide, we're going to lose the A on these,
Ox.
right? So it's heptoxide. It's not heptaoxide. You lose the A.
Mm-hmm.
And hexox, or hexoxide, pentoxide.
Listen, that is a great rule, but there's a lot of different changes to it. My advice is try and say the one that's like the smoothest off the tongue.
There you go.
That's really because there are exceptions to it, and so you got to try and go with the one that just is smoother to say.
Right. Well, the try and the die, we always keep the I's.
Yeah.
We never lose those either.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say you definitely lose the A's, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
So these are not in your reference tables. You got to learn them. Okay, that's just it. The ones you find in your reference tables are the different ones for a different unit of the year.
Completely.
And if you try and use those, you're like, nah,
No,
not
gonna
gonna
happen.
work.
So you can't use those ones.
Let's actually get some practice. Let's see it out.
Let's do this quick. In this first example, I see 1 carbon and 1 oxygen.
So I would say monocarbon monoxide.
That'd be a great idea, except for I never use mono on the first nonmetal if it's by itself. So instead of monocarbon,
Right.
we just leave it carbon.
Okay.
Okay?
So carbon. Was I right about monoxide?
Monoxide.
Monoxide. Monoxide.
Right.
Sure.
I'm not going to have the 2 O's.
Yeah, because that would be
Maybe
M-O-N-O-O. Monoxide.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound right.
Yeah. One syllable at a time sounded out.
All right, why don't you try and guess this one, see if you can get it.
Monocarbon dioxide.
Man, you are good at this, except for that mono thing keeps getting you.
Oh,
So remember,
okay,
no
then
mono on the
okay,
first.
so just carbon dioxide then.
All right, but good job.
Okay, cool.
Good job.
Nice.
And we've heard of carbon dioxide, CO2, many times.
Right. I think that's another thing. These things, aside from our practice, the ones that you're going to see on our test or the
The
exam
ones you almost already know.
are probably the ones you already know.
Yeah, except for this one. What's that one? What's the next one?
Well, that's H2O. That's water.
Wrong again.
But I'm totally right. It's H2O. That is totally water.
Well, right, but that's not how we're going to name it this way.
So you mean there's a common name and a nomenclature name?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, dang. So,
And then there's a trade name.
oh,
Then there's all
boy.
I mean, every these things all have all sorts of different names. Different companies have to call it different things.
So these rules are just simply that, rules.
They're just rules.
Yeah. Okay, so let me apply the rule
All right.
for H2O. So dihydrogen monoxide.
Bet.
I heard that stuff's poisonous. It can cause drowning. It can cause drowning.
You're funny.
Dihydrogen monoxide. Be careful. It's
But
poisonous.
you got it because you used your rules.
I used the rule.
And don't let this one fool you. If you get this one on there, it's H2O.
Yes.
Absolutely. You want to get the other one? No, this one looks really tough.
Oh gosh, that's P's phosphorus, oxygen's O. So two P's, two's diphosphorus.
Yep.
3 trioxide.
Okay. Diphosphorus. Trioxide.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel when I spell them right.
Well, yeah, I know. I know your struggle, and it is real.
Yeah, well.
So we got the formula back to the name. That's pretty straightforward.
Let's do the opposite then.
So I'm going to have to take the name, decipher it, and pull it back to the formula.
Sure.
Do you want to quiz me or me quiz you?
You go.
Okay. Carbon tetrachloride. So it's not mono, so it's one carbon, so C.
Okay.
Tetra means 4. It's with the chlorine.
I've never seen it. I was going to say there's no chloride on the periodic table.
Yes, tetra with the chlorine. So it's not C4Cl because the tetra's with the chlorine. So it's CCl4.
You'd be right.
I guess the sticky part there is the 4 number comes between the first and the second element. So if you were doing it straight up, like left to right, you might write C4Cl.
Yeah, but remember that prefix it comes before the element. So
It's attached to the element.
Right.
Because it's attached in that compound word.
There you go.
2 words, 2 elements.
Yep.
The prefix for each word tells you the number of elements.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Nitrogen trihydride. Nitrogen's N, and there's no mono, so it's just N.
Okay.
Tri means there's 3 of something, and hydra,
Which element
hydrogen?
does that sound like?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
So
And
H3.
how many of them are there?
H3.
Okay, I'm going to give this one a try. I see sulfur with no mono, so that's got to be 1 sulfur. That's pretty easy, right?
Yep.
Then difluoride. Oh, that sounds like my toothpaste. Fluoride it's got to be fluorine. Fluorine, and then di has got to be 2, right?
Yeah. SF.
SF2. Cool.
All right, back to me. Yeah,
Oh,
I love stealing this
I know
video
you
from
do.
I know you did a great job.
No, it's all right. No, go ahead.
Dinitrogen. Oh, that's really easy. N2.
Okay. And
Trioxide. O3.
Good.
Yes,
Getting the hang of this.
my boy.
Good. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, basic steps. Simple enough. Name the both nonmetals. Second one ends in I. So all compounds end in I.
There you go.
Period.
Yep. And then the second step, we're going to use prefixes on both of our nonmetals to tell me how many of each. Just never use mono on the first one.
We'll squash you the first few times until you don't do it anymore because it's just you're doing too much if you put mono on the first one.
Yeah. Well, we know there's one because you wrote the word.
Yeah, it's kind of like you never have to put the number 1 in front of X in math.
Right. But we do
It's
have to on
assumed
the
it's
second.
there.
We do have to on the second one because
Right.
sometimes there's 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's where the variation really comes.
Yep.
So thanks for watching. Have a good day, all. And thanks for watching these homeworks. It's helping you out in class, I can tell.
It's going smoother, man.
Yeah.